We have a special award to bestow upon a wonderful architect who is receiving the 2017 New Zealand Institute of Architects Gold Medal. So I'm going to ask you, homai te paki, give me a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for the recipient of the 2017 Gold Medal, who is Andrew Patterson.
Well, I feel deeply honoured and deeply blessed by you all. Thank you so much. I'm going to thank everybody in chronological order, and because it's the year of the Trump, I'm going to concentrate on the alternative facts. I know that I, like a lot of people here, always wanted to be an architect. And my father was a doctor, and he was equally determined that I would go to medical school. So I ended up in Dunedin, which is about as far away from an architecture school as you can get in New Zealand. And I remember the grade to get into medicine was an A+, and the grade to get into architecture was a B-. So it was only with very considered underachievement that I became an architect. And I arrived home to my very disappointed doctor dad and to say sorry. And in the middle of the living room was this drawing board that he'd bought for me. I mean, it wasn't just any drawing board. It was like, it was the Rolls Royce of drawing boards, and I still have it today, and it's still in the office, much to the curiosity of anybody under 30, and the complete disgust of my partner, Andrew Mitchell, who did our beautiful minimalist design. So, but the point, I guess, was that on the drawing board, my father had placed his secret to life, which was a copy of Bronowski's The Ascent of Man. No, only facts. So thank you, Dad. My granddad fought at Passchendaele, and so he was 92 when I went to architecture school, and his hobby was translating Latin. And I asked him, and those of you here who are architects know about Firmae Utilitas Venastis, the Latin test for architecture by Vitruvius. And I asked my grandfather about it, and he said, no. Venastis is not the word for beauty or delight, per se. It's the word that you use for the delight of the natural world. I went up, and just right then, in an instant, my whole architectural philosophy was formed. Buildings had to be as beautiful as the New Zealand natural environment. They had to match New Zealand's natural environment, buildings in New Zealand. So I was excited, and I went back to architecture school with this unique, renewed vigour. At the time, New Zealand's buildings, and they still are really, because buildings are long-lived things, were copies of overseas buildings, and when you graduated, you would go on your OE. And with my newfound philosophy, I was absolutely determined not to travel. I wanted my education to be in New Zealand, in the landscape. I wasn't going to have a bar of going overseas. So I joined a firm, and who shall remain nameless. And I remember being told, don't worry about the back of the building. Nobody sees the back of the building. So don't worry about that flashing line. It's high. Nobody, and so we didn't get on. And thankfully, this architect, he waited till the day I was registered, the morning, before sacking me. So I just want to thank Colin Loishka. I also want to thank Pip Cheshire and Pete Bosley. I had my first house, and it had been completely overlooked by the award system. And they invented this thing called the Young Architect of the Year and gave me that. So thank you, Pete and Pip. And with that, I got the Carter Holt Harvey Home of the Year at that time award, which was a $20,000 travel grant, which completely threw my travel ban out the window. So I ended up going right around the world, forcefully immersed in world architecture only a year later. And so actually the secret to architecture was betraying your personal values. I guess the open secret to architecture we all know is you can't have a great building without great clients. And I've been just terribly, terribly lucky. I've had the best clients, great clients. And many of them have come back time and time again. We saw a lot of work from Sir Michael Friedlander. He's taught me about longevity in buildings. I mean, our buildings have got to attract future generations. Otherwise, they're not sustainable. To be truly sustainable, all of our buildings have got to attract the generations to come. They're very long-lived things. I want to thank my partner, Andreas Asilla Riviera. We met in the first Starbucks in New Zealand in Queen Street. We were both wearing black, and we both reached for the same soy macchiato, which at the time I thought was the secret to architecture. Andreas has been my rock, and we all have a glass ceiling, and Andreas has bashed my head against the glass ceiling till it's bloody over the years, or bald in my case. I want to thank my team at Patterson's, Andrew, my fellow directors, Andrew Mitchell, Darvel Popovich, our senior associates, Shane Taylor, Luke Douglas. I want to say thank you to them for teaching me their secret to architecture, which is collaboration. It's a wonderful, talented group of people. Thank you very much. I couldn't ask for more. Talking of people, my family's batch, my grandmother's batch actually was at Kawhia beside the marae. And I've always kind of considered myself Ngāti Pākehā. So I'd like to thank my third sister, Nada Glavish, Rangimari, for the actual secret to architecture. Hei tangata, hei tangata, hei tangata. It's people stupid. And this has come about quite late, really. And you can prove this to yourselves. If you get out your phone, you can flick through your Instagram or your old pics, and you will flick over all of the landscapes and the sunsets and the buildings, and it's only the people that'll make you smile. And us architects have known that throughout the generations. I mean, classicism with its human proportion, and a wharenui with its arms outstretched with a sense of belonging, brutalisms, honesty. So that brings me to my last thank you, and the secret to architecture. Te tangata is a two-way street. People are hardwired to recognise other people. We're all human. It's the crack that lets the light come through. And it's the clarity of consciousness in a work that makes it beautiful. I challenge you to think of any building you consider beautiful that doesn't have a recognisable authorship, even if you don't know who those authors are or that author is. So when that authorship is diluted, the beauty of that building and its attraction to people is diluted as well. So, Dad, my Hippocratic oath is to make New Zealand a more beautiful place. And thank you to the NZIA and all of you for recognising authorship. And thank you for this little gold medal. I would never have thought it could mean so much. Thank you very much.
Kia ora. Thank you, Andrew.